What a morning. Here comes Adam. How'd you go? How'd you go?
Fast.
Speaking of fast, I ran a PB on the headland this morning. A couple of things had to line up for that to happen, as I always do with anyone doing a personal best in anything. For me, it was about 2 weeks before this. I spent about a week and a half with my brother on the Sunshine Coast, and we actually did a bunch of running. We must have run about 4 times that week, which is way more running than I typically do. And there were some pretty solid runs in there as well. So I felt the benefit from that volume and intensity of running a couple of weeks ago, then going back to my usual once a week running, and I felt the adaptation to that. And then secondly is the gi jiu-jitsu session that I do before these sessions. It wasn't super intense because I train for about an hour to an hour and a half in the gi right before this. There is about a half an hour drive from training to the headland, which I get to hydrate and eat some food. But I turned up to this headland session with a little less fatigue than I usually would and got the benefits of that. Now, all that said, I'm not a great runner by any means. I'm just happy that I'm improving. There's a great quote attributed to Ernest Hemingway, and it goes, "There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility lies in being superior to your former self." And I think that's a great way to look at your own training. A few weeks ago, I did some maths and worked out that the run that I do there each week, which takes currently just under 13 minutes to do on the trail that we do, is less than 2% of my overall training week. Now that includes flexibility, jiu-jitsu, strength training, circuits, running, everything that I do cumulatively. It's less than 2% of the week. Yet the benefits I receive are far greater than 2% of the returns I get in training each week. Being able to train outdoors in paradise, I mean, look at it. It's such a beautiful place to train. The headland at Burleigh is from volcanic rock that's millions of years old. And you're literally running, on the side of the ocean or the sea. It's a coral sea, but you look out there, it's actually a Pacific Ocean. And you're running around a rainforest headland of this volcanic rock on one of the most beautiful parts of the world with a bunch of my great mates. We're outdoors, training, all the negative ions out in the sun. It's just such a wonderful place to train. Plus, it's a fantastic aerobic hit out for me as well. That does benefit a lot of the other training I do in some way, shape or form. The transfer's far from 100%, but there is some transfer there. And all the physiological benefits you get from just running in general. Things like increased capillarization, increased mitochondrial density, increased blood volume, increased stroke rate, elevating your body temperature. Improvements in lung capacity, improvements in anaerobic threshold, not to mention the fantastic dopamine hit that you get when you finish the session. Because we're not always 100% motivated and excited to go and do this run by any means, but we all feel much better for it after. And any potential interference effect that I get from running, interfering with any of my other training, is negligible because it's less than 2% of my training week.